This is what I've been telling you about.
When I first saw the film Up, I thought, you're having a laugh. It wouldn't be possible to assemble that many helium balloons and effortlessly float off into the sky like a bird or a plastic bag. But this week, YouTube Originals put me in my place with David Blaine's new, exhilarating, death-defying stunt, Ascension. Only it isn't exhilarating or death-defying, really. It was certainly a spectacle, and it was brave, but a spectacle worthy of a 3-hour special? I'm not convinced. Now don't get me wrong, I wouldn't do it. It takes some serious stones to ascend 24,000 feet and then skydive back down to Earth. And I love David Blaine and have done for years, but there's something about this most recent endeavour that's a little bit meh.
M-E-H, meh.
It's super sweet that he does it for his daughter, and I love that, but it lacks the one thing that makes an event of this nature really enticing. But before we dive any further, we'd be grateful if you could give this video a like. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to be notified about all our latest videos. We do weekly stuff on film and TV, so if that's your thing, we'd love to have you. I'm Stephen from Unmissable Movies, and here's why Ascension lacked magic. Now, it's hard for me to make a case here without sounding like a maniac, so I'm just going to come out with it. For crazy stunts performed by magicians to work, it has to feel like there's some level of risk. Or there at least needs to appear to be some element of real danger. Now, of course, nobody wants anything bad to actually happen, and you know it won't, but it's part of that suspension of disbelief. You allow yourself to believe there's risk involved. Imagine you went to a magic show, and before they saw the magician's assistant in half, they told you how it was done. You wouldn't really watch it in the same way. Now, I know this wasn't ever meant to be a trick per se, but it needed more theatrics to make it a better watch. When Dean Gunnison hung over the Hoover Dam, or when Houdini was buried alive, I assure you there were safety measures in place. But of course they would have been hidden, hence the phrase smoke and mirrors. Yes, with many tricks there are elements of risk, but it's never to the degree that the audience think. But in Ascension, they tell you straight away within the first minute that it's safe, and that there's a team of people making sure David is okay, and while you'd expect all of that, I'm not sure it added anything to be told the intricate mechanics of what we were about to view. And here's where I think there's been a vital misunderstanding as to who this was for. Was it primarily for technical wizards and aviation experts? Unlikely. It was probably made for you and me, the average person watching at home. So rather than keeping the supporting team a little bit hidden, they just show you everything. Now, rightly or wrongly, as I've said, risk makes a feat of this nature more exciting. When there's obstacle and fear, you're more engaged as an audience. So, what were the obstacles? Well, when he leaves, he's holding onto the balloons and you think, gosh, how will he manage this? But they quickly make it very clear that he doesn't actually need to hold on. This isn't like his earlier works where he's had to learn some new skill to enable some feat of endurance. It's just a harness. Fair enough, but it's not particularly enthralling. Next, he has to put his parachute on in the air. And does he manage it? Yeah, he does. He has a moment where it's a little bit fiddly, but that's really it. But how can he breathe at those altitudes, you might ask? Well, he has a breathing technique that helps. Oh, and a supply of oxygen right next to him. But what about his hands? Won't they get cold? Yeah, and he has gloves ready for when he needs them. Now, you might be wondering what my problem is, and truly, I don't have one. This stunt looks stunning, and like I said, I wouldn't do it. But I think the thing that dilutes it is, I'm sure there's many skydivers who would do it. With his other stunts, you sense that no one else on Earth would dare. But this isn't like that. And if you're a fan of Blaine already, because he's a magician, you anticipate awe, and it isn't really there. I'd still recommend it, but I'd suggest forwarding it to the point of Ascension. And the weird thing is, it is amazing, but don't expect to be astounded either. If tension's what you're looking for, I tried Disney's Up. Thanks so much for watching. Where do you think this ranks amongst Blaine's other works? We'd love to get your views in the comments section below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, it really helps us out. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.